This is the second dialogue between J. Krishnamurti and Pupil Jayakar at Brockwood Park, 1978.
I thought we could inquire today into some of the terms you use. Through the years, I have a feeling that these words have been used with different meanings. The words I'm wanting to raise are consciousness, mind, brain cells, thought.
And thought.
And thought. I would like to know from you, sir, thought and the brain cells are a material process and in a sense can be, one knows where one stands with, though there is a great deal still to discuss with regard to the brain cells particularly. But you use the word consciousness and you use the word mind, sometimes as if they were one. Sometimes you use the word mind as synonymous with thought. And sometimes you seem to suggest that mind contains thought, but is not.
So shall we begin with the word consciousness?
Yes, all these four words.
Is that all right? If you?
Yes, as long as we bring in all these four words.
Oh yes, we'll bring all the all the words in. What does conscious mean to you? What does the word and the content of that word mean to you? Consciousness. To any of us, what does it mean?
The sense of existence, of existing, being, existing really, that one is. You only discover the fact that one is because consciousness is there.
See how you are using the word consciousness is synonymous with existence.
With existence.
You're using consciousness to mean that.
Yeah.
I think if I may point out, I think one is using the word consciousness in a different way. Not of existence, only, but all the turmoil in that existence,
Yes.
all the mischief and trouble and anxiety, fear, pleasure, sorrow, love, hate, the hurts one receives when one receives, all that is implied in that word consciousness to me.
Yes, but that is existence.
Yes, but existence.
Why do you?
I'm a little bit.
Why are you not?
I'm a little bit
prepared to accept that word.
I'm a little bit shy of that word because I don't think existence conveys the totality of one's consciousness.
Doesn't it, sir?
I'm not sure. I said I'm rather shy of that word. It may include, but
existence is everything. The want, not want.
Yes, the
looking, the memory, desire, it's everything.
All right, we won't quibble over
Yes,
that word.
it means the total content of what exists. What?
Of what? The total content of one's life.
Yes, total content of one's life.
Yeah, total content of one's life, right. Is one aware of the total content of one's life?
No, not in a total sense.
No, I'm asking that. That's why I'm
You
asking.
see, because if one were...
Or am I only aware of the parts of my consciousness at different times? I am aware, one is aware that one is hurt psychologically, and perhaps both physiologically, which reacts upon each other and so on. One may be aware of that hurt for a period, for a day or two, and then one moves away from that hurt to pleasure, let's suppose. Yeah. And so we're always looking at we are not concerned with the totality of consciousness, but rather the parts of it.
Because that is how it reveals itself.
Does it? Does the part reveal the whole?
No, I don't say the part reveals the whole. That you are saying, sir. I am saying that the part is revealed, and I'll use the word now, in the mind as a fragment. Consciousness reveals itself in the mind as a fragment.
I'm not sure. Wait a minute. I like to be clear on this point. Does consciousness reveal the part in the mind, or thought? Please let me go slowly. Or thought, being in itself a fragment, only can see the fragmentation of consciousness, not the fragment as seen in the mind. Just let me be clear on this.
You are saying that thought can be only aware.
No, I'm saying thought being in itself
fragmented.
a fragment, a broken piece, can see a fragment of consciousness only.
I don't quite follow that, Krishnaji. Thought.
Wait. I am hurt.
Yes.
Psychologically, somebody says something brutal to me, and I'm hurt. That's part of my consciousness. They're hurt. Just a minute. Now, thought is part of consciousness. Thought is a broken piece, a limited movement, and that movement or that fragment says, I am hurt. So thought, being in itself a fragment, cannot see the whole.
But when thought says, I am hurt,
that thought doesn't say I'm hurt.
Sees that it is hurt.
No, thought doesn't say I'm hurt. I say I'm hurt.
But it is...
I am jealous.
Yes.
I am anxious.
Yes. But the moment it says, I am, it is a thought formation.
I want to go slowly into this. Thought then, so one has to go into this question of I, which is put together by thought.
Yes.
The name, the form, the attributes, the qualities, the characteristics, the environmental, all the rest of the genetic and so on. That thing, thought has made a structure which is the me, the I. Yes. Then I say, I am hurt. Thought doesn't say that.
Who says it?
They think that thought has put together as me. Look, then let's look at it factually. You call me, Scott calls me a fool. And I don't like it. I think I'm brilliant. And he comes along and says, don't be silly, you're stupid. I'm hurt. You don't, but I'm saying. I'm hurt. In exploring that hurt, thought comes into operation. Then we discover that thought has built the me.
Yes.
So thought is never aware that it is hurt, but I am hurt, which is different from thought. Thought thinks.
Thought thinks it is different.
That's it.
Yes.
That's all.
Thought thinks it is different.
Thought thinks it is different from the structure which is built.
Which is hurt.
Which is hurt. So, thought can never be aware of the total content of consciousness. It can be only aware of the fragments.
What is the total content of consciousness?
We're going to find out. So when we are discussing the word consciousness, you use the word existence. Consciousness implies existence. I said it doesn't quite give the full meaning, that word. And it may. So I'm looking for a word that will give the holistic meaning to consciousness. You understand?
Has it a holistic meaning?
Huh?
Can you put it within a holistic
I think one
situation?
can. First of all, what is the content of consciousness? Everything that thought has put there.
Yes.
So, and thought in examining consciousness can only see the fragment.
Yes.
So thought cannot fundamentally perceive or comprehend the totality of consciousness. That's simple.
Yes.
Now, when one like me uses the word, perhaps wrongly, that consciousness is the totality of life. Not only my life, your life, X life, but the life of the animal, the totality of all that.
You're using it today very differently.
Yes, sorry.
You are.
I know. I'm moving away from what I said.
Yes. You just say, this last sentence you have said, that consciousness is the totality of life.
Totality of life.
The insect, the bird, the leaf.
Totality of life.
No.
They have their own feelings. You follow? I think consciousness is limited, is global but limited.
Huh? It's global but limited.
I'm just feeling around. Just go slowly. What do you see? Nobody jumps on me here. Because, well, I won't go into this for a moment.
Because this is what you have said is very new, and I'd like to pursue it. Because you have always said consciousness is its content.
Yeah.
The content is the past as experience. Now you're saying consciousness is the totality of life.
Yes.
Which is very different to my experiences of life.
What do you mean, your experience of life?
Just a minute.
Your experience of life is the experience of every human being.
Yes, but there are many aspects, many experiences.
There are different colors, but it is in the same direction.
Yeah, the same direction.
Same
but
direction.
But you are implying now that the totality of all
Life.
In which, after all, I'm what is within me may be the experiences of man.
Yes, let's limit it to that. Your life is the life of man,
Yes.
of humanity.
Yes.
Right? So you are not different from humanity.
No.
Basically, you might have different heads
Yes.
and face. I'm not talking about that. So basically, you are humanity. The rest, you are the mankind.
Yes.
Your consciousness is the consciousness of mankind.
Yes.
Hmm?
But you have said something different, Krishna.
Wait, I'm coming to that. Mankind goes through all kinds of travail, all kinds of trouble. Terrible time it goes through. And every human being is that, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't everything go through this? The animal, the insects, the trees, all nature goes through various kinds of turmoil. We'll use the word turmoil in the sense disturbance. No?
Do you mean by this, Krishnaji, that consciousness is the whole of phenomenal life?
Both phenomenal. Wait a minute, just a minute. I'll have to be awfully careful here. What do you mean by the word phenomenal? Phenomenon.
That which can be perceived by the senses.
By perceived, touched, tasted, and so on. Hmm? That's only part of it, isn't it?
What is the other part?
All the accumulated knowledge, experience, and so on, all the psychological agonies of man, which you cannot touch, which cannot taste. The psychological turmoil may affect the body and then the organism, and then the organism tastes the pain of anxiety.
Which is the anxiety of mankind.
Yeah, this is the process of mankind. So it is global.
You're using the word global in a very...
I know, I oughtn't use it.
Something...
I withdraw that word. It is it is what? Universal. It is common. It is the fate of man. It is what is happening in the world.
Why would you then object to the word cosmic in a sense?
Well, cosmic. I think the word cosmic means order. Cosmos opposed to chaos.
But the totality of this, after all, the cosmic is the totality of this. It's not the fragment.
No. Because I want to be careful there to use the word cosmic. Cosmos apparently means order. Human mind is not in order. Human consciousness is not in order.
Yeah, but now you have brought in many other elements apart from the superficial, fragmentary movement of the human mind. You've brought in the whole of the racial past, the whole of this accumulated
traditions,
centuries
genetic,
the whole of it.
Yeah.
Which is order, which when it is total...
I wouldn't say cosmic. That's why, to me, I mean, if one has to be careful with one's words, cosmos means total order, opposed to chaos, which is disorder. And our human minds, our consciousness is in disorder. Right?
Yeah.
So it cannot be called cosmic.
The human mind cannot be called cosmic.
Human consciousness I'm talking about.
But then how do you bring into human consciousness the total content of life?
No, we're not understanding each other.
Aren't you bringing in the totality of life?
Huh?
Aren't you bringing in the totality of life?
I'm no believer. I'm just stating consciousness, as we have just now used, is the common factor of mankind.
Yes.
That consciousness, with its content, is confusion,
Yes.
conflict, all the rest of it. It is that.
Yes.
That consciousness cannot be called cosmic.
No, that
Cosmic.
cannot be called cosmic.
No.
No.
That's all. That's all.
Yes, agreed. But you have gone much beyond that in what you have said about consciousness.
Yes.
It is not just the individual
No,
confusion.
I question whether there is individuality at all.
No, well, remove the word individual.
That's why, yeah.
But, experience, confusion, chaos, anxiety, fear, anger. When you talk of the total fact of life.
Yeah, no. Can thought be aware of the totality of consciousness? That's what we said.
He said it cannot be aware.
Yeah, it cannot be. So, what is the question you are raising?
You see, I wanted to, this has come about because we raised the initial question. Okay, what is the distinction between
consciousness, mind, brain
brain
and
and
thought?
thought.
Right. Now,
That's
we have
really
more
the
or less
question.
understood what we mean by consciousness.
Yes.
If we have
And thought also.
thought also. Wait a minute, I want to be clear. If thought cannot be aware of the total content of consciousness, then what is it that's going to perceive the totality? You follow? Because if I don't perceive the totality of my consciousness, and I can only deal with the fragments of my consciousness, the fragments are endless. Right? So there must come into operation a factor that sees the totality of consciousness. Right? No?
I see. Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
So what is that factor? Is it the mind? Wait a minute, I'm going to now question that. Is it the mind? It certainly is not thought.
It's not.
It certainly is not the brain cells. The brain.
No, when you say it is certainly not the brain cells, it is certainly not the brain cells as they exist.
The brain cells as they exist, I don't know, I'm not a brain specialist, but the cells carry the memories. Yeah. And the memories are part of thought. Therefore, brain, as it is now, which we are employing, cannot perceive the totality of consciousness.
Yeah, as it is now.
Right. Thought cannot see it, because thought is part of consciousness. Right? The brain, the activity of the brain, cannot comprehend the totality of consciousness, nor then we come to the mind. Can the mind perceive the totality? Then we say, what is the mind? We are come to discussion with me. What is the mind? I want, look, Pupuji, let's be more, if you can use the word, practical. No, I hate
Yes.
that word. I don't
What
like
is the mind?
I don't like
really
it.
would
No,
like to
because I want to find out whether there is a state, there is a movement beyond consciousness. You follow?
Yes. That's basically the reason
That
for the
is the
inquiry.
basic question in this. Therefore, I must understand the movement of thought. I must understand, there must be an understanding of the activity of the brain, which is part of thinking. Whether that brain can manufacture or invent or fabricate or produce a perception which is beyond this consciousness.
Yes.
I don't think it can, as it is. So then we're asking, can the mind perceive the totality of consciousness? Then we say, what is the mind?
Because you have used the word mind in several ways.
Yes, I know. Is the mind intellect? Part of it, of course. Can the intellect perceive the totality of consciousness?
Is the intellect separate from thought, reason?
No, it's not. It's not. But we think intellect is the most extraordinary thing we have. Right? All the intellectual people. How we worship the intellect. Right?
Yeah.
All the intellectual books, all the rest of it don't have but. So, can intellect perceive the totality of consciousness? Obviously not, because intellect is part of thought. And the usage of thought brilliantly or negligently or efficiently or
Only,
loosely.
only.
So mind is, intellect is part of the mind. Mind is also part of emotions, feelings, sentiment.
Yes.
Now, can sentiment, romanticism, feeling, emotions perceive the totality?
But you are using mind as if it were an instrument. You see, you say, can it perceive?
Can it become aware? Can it?
No, but
it doesn't
want-
matter. All right.
I would like to ask you, is the mind an instrument or a field?
Or
A field.
mind is a field. Are you saying that? We're asking, is the mind a field?
Or an instrument.
A field, the mind that covers the whole field, or only a part of the field, a corner of the field, or a segment of the field.
You see, I want to get a clarity from you on the usage of your words.
We are finding clarity.
That is why I'm pursuing this. I might see mind as synonymous with thought. I might see.
So the mind, wait a minute, people, the mind includes the intellect.
Yes.
Intellect is part of thought.
Yes.
Feelings, emotions, sentiment, romanticism, imagination, all that is part of thought also.
And senses?
Huh?
And senses?
The senses are not, but they get thought identifies itself with the senses.
What part do the senses play in all this?
In what?
We know the process of perception, sensation.
That's simple enough.
That's
Yes.
simple. But there is another.
I don't think emotions, sentiment and all that can possibly bring about a perception, can offer a perception of the whole, not sentiment, not emotion. not sensations.
So that you would rule out all the senses as such.
Senses, yes.
You would rule out the senses?
No, I don't rule out the senses. The senses exist.
Yes.
I feel pain when you put
Are they being wrongly used?
No, when thought identifies itself with that,
With the
sensation,
then
then that sensation becomes the me.
Yes, because then there's a movement outward towards.
I want, I don't want, and all the rest of it. So the mind, you say, is the field. Field for what? Matrix?
No, because matrix again circumscribes
Yes.
it.
So field again is circumscribed.
Well, you see, there's no word.
No, so I'm just asking whether the mind includes brain, which is thought, emotions, intellect, and wait. Is love part of the field, part of the mind?
So, if love is not part of the mind,
Or?
if love is not part of the
I
mind...
don't know, I'm asking. I don't think it is. Sensation is part of the mind. And thought identifying with itself with sensation which is pleasurable, says
Yes, that is...
that's simple enough. So, is love different from consciousness?
See, the moment you bring in the word love, sir...
We'll go into it. That is very important. We'll go into it. No, because that is what we...
I mean...
That's part of our consciousness, love.
As we know it, it is...
As we know it. So I include that. So, is the mind... Does the mind include love? Which is based on sensation, pleasure, desire. As what we call love. Am I wrong, ladies? What we call love is based on sensation, desire, pleasure. I love you, I love something, So is love, as we know it, love is part of our consciousness, right?
Yes.
Which is jealousies, antagonism, quarrel, all the rest of
but you didn't use love in that sense. Because if you use it in that sense, then it's no different from any other emotion.
So, is there a love, or is there a quality which is not part of consciousness?
Are you divorcing such a love, such a quality of love from sensation? There is no sensation?
Oh, no, there is sensation. No, you don't let's muddle the thing. We said sensation exists. When thought identifies with any particular sensation and pursues that particular sensation as pleasure or pain, then it builds up the structure of the me.
But is there not sensation that does not lead to those things, that doesn't create a me, that isn't used by thought, but is simply...
Of course, sensation, of course.
Perception.
Of course, sensation. I see that there's a perception of the tree. Momently, I don't like that tree, etc., etc.
But when you have the perception of, say, beauty, that is
But is there sensation involved in that?
Well, that's what I'm
Now you are entering into a different field altogether. Is beauty sensation?
No, but is not the perception of beauty inevitably involved in a sensation? It's part of the perception of it. Can be described as sensation.
No, I am not sure it does. I'm not sure it does.
You see, the problem arises because while you have gone through all the other things, intellect, mind,
Brain.
thought, you have only discussed the senses as identified with desire, which goes to build up the structure of the self. I ask, have the senses any other role?
Yes.
See,
The senses have. Wait a minute, let me get this clear. I think it has. I've got the germ of it, the kernel of it. To observe with all your senses, there is no identification with a particular sense.
yes.
Right?
Are you saying the senses become one in a sense? Are you implying that the senses become one?
No,
You don't
no,
distinguish
no,
between
no,
one sense and
no.
another?
I'm not implying, sir. Can you look at something with all your senses awakened?
Isn't it, sir, a question of can you look and listen
With all
at
the
the same
senses.
instant of
Yeah.
time, in the same moment of time?
You once said that that was seeing. To see with all your senses. And in the particular instance when you said that, it involved everything. The sense of hot and cold, and the sense of on your skin.
No,
the sense
no,
of your
Maria,
feelings,
if
the
I may,
sound, everything.
not what I said. Now we are examining again
That's
anew.
what I'm asking you about.
No, is it possible to observe with all your senses? And in that state, is there a movement of thought at all? When there is a movement of thought, then it is a particular
Sense operating.
sense operating. And because if you're going to pursue this further, as a human being, it's a natural curiosity, natural urge to find out, is there a totally different dimension which is not the dimension of consciousness as we know it? Not invented by thought, I don't mean that, right? And it becomes important to find that out.
You see, you have examined and negated all the known instruments we have with which we operate.
Yes,
The only instrument which you don't totally negate is the quality of the sensory movements.
how can I negate senses?
No, so that being quite independent, that containing in it, having the capacity to contain in it no illusion that we put in this.
The illusion creates by thought.
Yes, so that having it in itself, the capacity to be free of illusion.
Yes, surely. That is only possible when there is thought, one has understood, there has been an awareness of this movement of thought, the activity of thought,
Yeah.
the whole nature of thought. Then senses do not produce the psychological structure as the me. That's all.
Is this awareness, Krishnaji, also part of the field of mind?
So that you're asking the same question as Scott is asking, which is, I would for the moment say not. Because the mind, we said, is the intellect, which is the movement of thought. The mind, we said, is also all the emotions, feelings, all that, which is part of the mind, which is part of consciousness. And thought can say, I am aware of my consciousness. But that awareness is still limited. Right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes. Yes.
So, that kind of awareness is still part of the mind. Look, people, let's make it a little more, come down to earth. Not so theoretical, it is not theoretical, but let's come down to earth. As a human being, one perceives that one's consciousness is in total disorder, right?
Yes.
And any movement away from the disorder is inevitably lead to illusions. So, but my question is, I'm using myself as an example of a human being, my consciousness is in disorder. I'm aware of it. Anger, jealousy, hate, possessiveness and domination, attachment, all that thing is going on endlessly in my brain, in my consciousness. I want to bring about order in it. I see the necessity of order. Order means harmony. How is this possible to bring it about? Right? I have discussed consciousness. We have discussed thought. We've discussed the mind and the feelings and so on. What instrument is necessary, or what quality is necessary to move out of this enchaining circle of consciousness?
You see, sir, this last question is very valid.
Yeah.
When the previous question, that I want to bring about order, is one of the things I have never understood.
Now, wait a minute, let's be clear. I'm using the word I want.
No,
colloquially, just a minute, people, let's be clear. Let me have my word. I'm using it quickly to convey that there must be order. Not I want order.
No, there must be order.
There must be total order to be cosmic. I don't know what cosmos is, but one realizes that there is total disorder in one's life. And therefore there is misery, confusion, uncertainty, quarrels, all the extraordinary things that go on in everyday life. So order is necessary. Now, who is to bring that order? That's my point. Will the mind bring disorder? Mind bring order? Will feelings, sensations, imagination, all that, will that bring order? Will thought bring order? On the contrary, thought cannot.
All these are fragments.
Fragments. So what were? Now, discuss, let's go into that.
That is why I say there is only one instrument you leave,
The senses?
which has the possibility of being free of taint,
The senses.
the senses. Otherwise, you have blocked every instrument I have.
Every whole human mind has invented. We blocked it. Have we also blocked the senses?
I see that when the senses operate as identified with thought, they only strengthen the structure which is causing the confusion, which is the basic cause of confusion.
So, is there a separation between thought and senses? So the thought is not active, but only senses?
Isn't there?
I'm asking.
Is perception achieved with the senses?
No, I was the perception of the tree through the eyes,
Yes,
through optical nerves and all the rest of it.
but that kind of optical perception does not bring about order.
No.
So,
No, but is
do
it
the senses have any place in bringing about the kind of
no?
perception
Forgive me,
that we're-
but isn't the nature of seeing quite different from
From
the
the optical.
optical thing which goes and says tree? There is the seeing or listening per se, independent of what is seen or what is heard. That instrument in itself is not corrupted. If I may put it this way, sir, is in itself not corrupted. Now I say,
What are you saying? The instrument
But
itself,
itself is
that
not-
is, the instrument which is thought,
no, instrument which is the seeing, listening, is not corrupted. It gets corrupted when it gets identified
that's
with
right,
thought.
with opinions, with judgments, evaluation, quite. So, listening correctly, accurately, is incorruptible.
Is incorruptible.
Yes, that's quite. That is so. But is that the instrument that will help a human being like oneself, like a human being like us, to bring about order?
If you deny all instrument,
I must be careful here.
Yeah.
What do you mean by instrument?
instrument is, see,
You are saying the mind is an instrument.
instrument. So
Thought
the
is an
brain is an
instrument.
instrument. The thought is an instrument.
Yes, if we are using the word instrument in that sense, yes, I
You
agree.
deny it.
Deny it. Because this very instrument has become corrupt. And that which is corruption cannot make something which is incorruptible.
And yet, now I'm bringing in something else. Yet you say there is the other.
Oh yes, definitely. Now wait a minute. So I'm a human being. It's my... I realize there is disorder in my... I am in disorder. My consciousness is in total disorder. help me please to move out of that realm, dimension altogether. What? So, gurus have come and said, do this, 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 and they'll help you. Christ or everybody has said, all the priests have said, do follow this, believe in that, and do rituals and forget all that. It hasn't brought about order. So one rejects all that in total, completely. Right?
Yes.
Then what is one to do?
What is actually meant?
What?
What is actually meant by
Actual means...
No, let me finish my sentence. Be a light unto yourself.
Be a light unto yourself.
What is actually meant?
Actually it means don't look to another. Don't rely on another. Don't depend on another. Don't ask another to help you.
Is the word light at all significant?
What?
Is the word light at all significant?
Light oneself, and it says, don't live in the shadow of others. That's not good. Sorry. Don't be a second-hand human being. Be a light to yourself. So, just a minute, people. This is what I want to find out. I must find out. Right? In the sense, yes. One must absolutely find out. I don't rely on you. I don't rely on the church, on priests, on gurus, on scriptures, on nothing. But I rely on the common intention of man to find something beyond this chaos, which is not the priest's invention. You know, they say, for God's sake, what? What am I to do? That is not a reliance on another. So it's a cooperative inquiry. Not my personal salvation. It's a cooperative, communal, not in the... a communal inquiry to find this out. It's not a personal salvation, good God. It's too damn silly. So what am I? What is to be done? We have abolished the mind. We have abolished the activity of thought, the activity of the brain as we know it now, which is limited, right? Prabhuji, right? We have also denied any pressure of environment, of tradition, pressure of pity. If all pressure is gone out of it. How am I, as a human being, to discover the other? Discover quotes and all the rest. Come on, you.
Krishnaji, it seems that whatever it is, Bapuji says the instrument would have to be something that is not fragmentary.
Yes, and also it can't be an instrument.
But
instrument implies a limited thing, right, sir?
No, sir, I don't
And
know.
therefore its operation must be limited.
I don't know whether...
Strumentare. What is...
I mean...
I'll have to look up in the dictionary. I wonder
See,
if...
you cannot. You see, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say is the moment you use it for something,
Yes, yes.
you're finished.
Like I use the violin to get popular, or use the violin to get more
So
money.
the moment,
I'm
if you
not
say,
an
I
artist.
need the instrument in order to reach the other, it
Oh,
is over.
Oh, it's quite.
But still that doesn't deny
What?
the energy which it holds.
What?
It does not deny the energy which it holds, which is an unlimited energy.
Are you theorizing political?
No, sir, it is not. Forgive me, sir, I'm not theorizing at this moment.
What are you trying to say?
I am
don't
saying-
understand it.
The moment I say I use the instrument of my senses for
Of
something,
course, of course.
it's finished.
Finished. That's obvious.
But I cannot deny,
You cannot deny the senses.
and that the senses in themselves are not corrupt. Senses are not corrupt.
All right. So senses in themselves are not corrupt. Wait a minute.
Otherwise, I'd be blind, deaf,
Oh, in that sense, yes.
and not corrupt.
Yes. Yes, then what? Will the senses, which are, when not identified, when thought doesn't identify itself with one or two senses, which builds the I psychologically, then those senses are natural.
In their natural state.
They're natural, they're healthy, healthy. Now, will those senses, which are healthy, bring about a different dimension?
I don't know, because the mind, the way one operates, they are never in that state.
They're never.
In that state.
Therefore, it is it possible for thought not to identify with the senses?
That's the query. I'm asking whether that is the query.
No, yes, it is possible. Obviously, it's so obvious. I see a beautiful object, human or otherwise, and I can observe it without any saying, my God, I am identified with it, I must have it, or you can observe it.
No, it's like having a discussion with you. And all your senses operating in the discussion with you.
Mm.
It's not that I want to get anything from you.
No, I hope not. You won't. Go on, what?
But there is a possibility of such a situation.
Oh yes, possibility, but I'm not interested in possibility. I am concerned, Purport, as a human being, my only problem is this.
But how do I posit the other?
I don't know. I don't posit the other. I don't know what order is. How can I know what order is when I live in total disorder? I can postulate, I can imagine, I can theorize, I can cunningly, verbally, intellectually spin a lot of theories about it, but actually it's verbal statements, they have no meaning. What has meaning is there is disorder. Now what is to happen to move from this dimension to a totally different dimension, which is not the invention of thought? That's my, right? If that is your question, I don't know if it is.
No, obviously we started. I'm defining each term as it comes along to get a clear picture.
We are very clear now. At least I hope so. Now, what is the action or inaction to move, or let's say movement from this to that? This has been an age-old problem. This is not something new. So they've said fast, pray, be a celibate,
Negate.
negate, go to church, pray, everything. But there's still there's nothing but disorder. So what shall we do? What is the action which is in action? That will negate this whole thing of disorder. Is there a total negation, or is it always must be partial? You follow it? I can negate attachment, I can negate jealousy, I won't negate all hurts, and so on. That way is endless, right? Right? So is there a negation of disorder totally?
But so that cannot be a movement, because movement implies
Time, and I know, but I'm just using the word act. Any word which implies a negation of disorder without wanting order, without the movement towards order. You understand what I mean? Is there a negation of total disorder? Can one deny that totally? Outside?
It's the action of being completely still without.
No, look, Harsha, if I may call you Mr. Harsha. I'll call you Harsha, get on with it. I'm in disorder as a human being. I can separate disorder. There is disorder here, this, so on. And in the very denial of a part, there is certain type of order. Right? But it's not total order. Right? Like the water in the harbor, but it's not the sea. Right? But it's the same water, but it's not the sea. So I can partly deny, the parts I can deny, but those denials are never the whole. Right? So I'm asking, can there be a total denial of disorder?
But you're asking if there's any action that can lead to that.
No, denial, not action. Let me put it this way. Do you see that partial denial is no denial at all?
Yes.
Right? Is there a denial which is not partial? Right? Is there a denial of the whole content of consciousness which is disorder? Are we stuck?
Sir, the denial of, you see, a total disorder is a concept.
Uh-huh.
Is a concept.
Uh-huh.
Forgive me for let me.
It's not a concept to man.
If it were not a concept, a total disorder as it operates within me, yes.
Wait. As it operates in you, is that operation partial, fragmentary?
Each disorder as it arises is fragmentary.
So,
The disorder is not fragmentary.
Wait,
the
wait,
way I meet it is fragmentary.
the fragmentary denial is creating disorder.
Yes, it's not that the
Yes, I've said it. The fragmentary denial is disorder.
fragmentary denial is a disorder.
So, all my life, I have fragmentarily denied.
That is why when you talk of a total disorder, it creates, a sense of something which one...
No,
if you talk
no.
of... If this is something which is comprehensible, that a partial denial is disorder.
It
fragmentary
contributes
denial
to disorder.
Is disorder.
Yes, right. From that, when we say partial denial is contributing to disorder, is there no partial denial at all? Therefore, total order.
The other one cannot even think of. Let's put this aside, total order. Let us talk about whether it is possible to totally deny.
It is possible to
Deny non-fragmentarily.
Yes, that's what all right, let's stick to that, good enough. So, the mind itself being fragmentary, when the mind says, I deny,
It is part of
it is still, when thought says that, it is still. When intellect, reason, logic say, it is still disorder. Right? Because they're all fragments. Now, what is the action or inaction that will say, no denial of, no partial denial?
You're using the word inaction. No, let me pursue it a bit.
Inaction?
You're using the word inaction. Is it that one is incapable of inaction? That is, of inaction, the not doing
a thing about
it.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to get at. We have done everything possible to clean up the consciousness. Right? We pray, we fast, we beg, we follow, we sacrifice, we deny. There's this constant activity to bring disorder, or bring about order. Right? No?
Obviously, sir.
So, is there an action which is non-action? And that is only possible when I really, totally, completely negate everything.
Krishnaji, the word deny implies action. So perhaps we could say, do you mean perhaps just allowing something to go by?
No, that would be too slick.
But in a state of total attention, no action.
You see, action implies now, the doing now. Is there such a thing as doing now without the past and the future? This leads to complication.
Now you're opening up a whole new. You're opening up a whole new.
I know. You see, we have been conditioned to say, I will do something to clear up the disorder. I will pray, I'll follow Jesus, I'll join Zen Buddhism, I will this, that, meditation. I am doing this all the time, right? I'm talking of inaction of the I, non-action of the I. Is that possible?
Krishnaji, can you explain what you actually mean when you say I?
We've been through that, sir. The I, I'll explain, don't accept it. The I is put together by thought. The I is part of the name, your name, your form, the form of your body, face and so on, your particular characteristics, your particular tendency, your genetic heredity result, all that is the product of thought. And the I is the product of the thought.
Could that mean the whole of my consciousness?
That is it. That's the whole of your consciousness. You suffer, your agony, you want to be somebody, you fail to be somebody, get bitter, angry, frustrated. You go through the whole gamut of human experience in one life. Right?
So one has to negate the whole of one's consciousness if...
Who is to negate it? The mind? Thought? The senses? Therefore there must be an action which doesn't belong to any of this. Right? And what is that action? So they say there isn't such action. Therefore meditate. Keep your mind still. Practice, the whole circle they go through, which is all still movement of thought. It's only there is action which is non-action when thought is completely, absolutely still. And then you say, please help me, tell me how to make my mind still. And you have all the industrialized gurus. Right, sir? What was I going to say? Sorry.
I was going to ask you whether it's possible for this an action to take place in the middle of a game of football when some other action is going on?
In the action of, when you're playing football, there might be momentary absence of the self. Momentary absence. But it's not back again.
Krishnaji, in order to perceive the total chaos at all, there has to be that inaction of the I in the first place.
What's that?
In order to perceive totally.
Of course. But no, but can you perceive totally your confusion?
Not while the I is operating.
Huh?
Not while the I is operating.
No, obviously not.
So, when we're talking about I've perceived that I'm in total disorder.
Do you perceive it?
This is what we started off by saying.
Yes.
No.
If we did perceive that, in that perception which comes about out of total inaction of the I, in that,
I see what you're saying.
in that
Right.
is the negation. Because
No. Let's begin again. Do you know, not you personally, do you know that you live in disorder?
I know it fragmentarily, not
Yes, good enough. How do you know it is disorder?
how do I know?
It is in disorder fragmentarily. Because you have a pattern of order. And so through comparing with the pattern, you say, yes, I'm in disorder. So comparison itself breeds disorder when you compare.
Right.
So how do you know that you are in disorder?
In a moment of awareness, you can see it clearly.
No, you know it when you're in conflict. I must do this or I can't do it. When there is conflict, struggle. Which indicates there isn't harmony, there is disorder, there is confusion. See, we always come to this point. We see for ourselves there is disorder. And we don't know what to do. Right? And we say, yes, there is disorder, and carry on. I don't want to carry on.
But the not doing something about it in a deep sense is not carrying on.
No, but one must be very clear not to deceive oneself.
Naturally.
I mean, one can live kind of...
That, of course, right.
That's what I was trying to say, Krishnaji. You say we always come to this point and we can't go any further. Isn't that because we see it in little bits and pieces. We don't see it totally. So that
Yes. So what
we're
will
never in that state when there's nothing but disorder.
So what will make you see totally? What will help you? Certainly not thought.
No.
So what, and mind and all the rest of it. So what will help you? Do you want to find out? If you do, what price are you willing to pay for it? Not the priestly price, not the analyst price. What will you do for it?
I think that we probably know that the total absence of the I is all I know.
Is what will you do? Pay, give, whatever you do to
What
live.
I'm trying to say is that we're probably afraid of taking that step because it's the unknown.
Why do you
It's got to be total absence.
project the unknown?
The total absence of the I.
You don't
is
know what
what?
it is.
It's
You
the
you
end.
don't know.
I know we don't know. That's why
So
we're not
remain there. Don't project. Yeah, my God, if I live without me, what will happen?
We don't do it.
Huh?
You say you end there, but we don't do it.
Ah, that's God. I think we better stop here. What time is it?
It's 5:25.
I'm glad that these terms have been
Cleared.
cleared. Because that, you've used them in several ways.
But, Pupulji, I like to, after clearing up the decks, verbal decks, I'm left with the deck which is what is so utterly confusing.
Am I?
I'm left with
Am
my
I?
confusion.
What am I left with, Krishna?
Huh?
If you have cleared all this, what am I left with?
If you have cleared it, we have cleared the explanation of world's way of view.
No, but
That is not clearing the deck.
No, but if one has been moving with it, there's been a clearing.
Yes, but have I really cleared that thought under no circumstances whatsoever can bring order? Have I really, truthfully understood the truth of that?
You see, you can only listen to the truth of that.
There. Have I,
cannot.
or I put it, have I listened to the truth of it? So that it is such an absolute fact that thought has no place except a little corner of a vast field. Thoroughly tamed and tied to a post. Huh?
You've said some very some things today which will have to be explored greatly.
Which is that?
Many things. I don't want to bring them up at this stage.
See, I'm just wondering, people, why human beings give their life to something so idiotic as fasting, celibacy, Christ, you follow, and not give a day to this. Look at all the monks, sannyasis in India and the monks in Europe. My God, what they go through. It's enough, Indy. We better stop today.